He heard the knock before the dog barked. Just one knock, quick, sharp, like someone afraid to be heard. He opened the door, and the cold came in with her. She stood on the porch, hair stuck to her face, arms wrapped around a bundle of cloth. The baby's face was barely visible, just a sliver of pale skin under the fold. Her eyes locked on his. "I was born here." Her voice was thin, like it had been carried too far on too little breath. He didn't answer. "Do you hear me?" she asked. "I hear you," he said. She didn't step inside, didn't ask to, just stood there, rocking the baby. "You got a name?" She shook her head. "Not one I keep." He leaned on the doorframe, staring. The porch boards creaked under her shifting weight. He'd heard voices say it before, that she looked like someone. He just couldn't yet admit who. "You lost?" "No." "You know whose house this is?" "Yes." His hand tightened on the door. "Who told you to come?" "Nobody." Silence settled between them. He could hear the baby's small breaths, uneven and shallow. "Are you cold?" "Yes." "Come in then." She hesitated, then stepped past him. Her boots left wet marks on the floor. The smell of damp cloth and milk followed her in. He closed the door slowly. "Sit," he said, nodding toward the kitchen chair. She sat, the baby still pressed close. Her hands were raw, the skin across her knuckles split. "You walk?" "Yes." "From where?" She looked down. "Far." He set a kettle on the stove. "You have a family?" "I told you. I was born here." "That's not what I asked." She said nothing. He poured her tea when the kettle hissed. She didn't touch it. "You always talk this little?" "Only when I'm scared." He watched her eyes shift to the walls, to the worn places where pictures used to hang. Her gaze stopped on the mantel where the small box sat. "You know her, don't you?" he said. Her lips pressed tight. "My sister." She looked at him then, and he saw it. The same shape of jaw. The same eyes. Only younger. "She was my mother." The words didn't seem to hurt her the way they hurt him. She said them plain, like she'd been waiting to. "She's gone," he said. "I know." "When?" "When I was born." He sat down across from her. The chair legs scraped the floor. "Who raised you?" Her shoulders lifted, dropped. "People who said they were family." He looked at the baby. "That one yours?" "Yes." "Where's his father?" She shifted in the seat. "Don't ask that." "Why not?" "Because I don't say his name." He studied her for a long moment, the fire in the stove snapping in the quiet. "You come here for what?" "A place." "You got anywhere else?" "No." "And if I say no?" She looked straight at him. "Then I'll sleep on the porch." Something in her tone made him lean back. He got up, pulled the spare quilt from the cupboard, set it on the table. "You can stay tonight," he said. Her eyes lowered. "Thank you." "It's not thanks. It's just one night." The baby stirred, letting out a small cry. She loosened the cloth and adjusted him. His face was tiny, red from the cold. "What's his name?" "I haven't picked one yet. You've been carrying him all this way, and he's got no name. Names make things real." He didn't like the way she said it, like naming something could curse it. She looked toward the door. "It's quiet here." "Usually it is." "They'll come looking." He froze. "Who?" Her fingers stroked the baby's cheek. "The ones I left." "Are you running from the law?" "No." "Then from what?" She met his eyes again. "From the people who kept me." He thought of the box on the mantel, his sister's box. Inside, the letters she never sent. He'd never read them all, just enough to know she'd lived with fear in her throat. "You eat?" he asked. She shook her head. He put bread and cold meat on the table. She ate slowly, one hand always on the baby. "You stay in here tonight," he said finally. "I'll get you blankets." "Why?" "Because I don't like throwing people out in the dark." She nodded once. He took the kettle off the stove, set it back on the counter, and let the weight of the room settle. She didn't look at him again, just kept her gaze fixed on the baby, rocking, humming something low. He didn't recognize the tune. The lamp threw a thin yellow circle across the table. She sat in it, the baby bundled in her lap. He stayed in the shadow, leaning on the doorframe, watching. The baby's eyes opened, slow and unfocused, but when they caught the light, he saw it. The same pale gray hue he'd seen in only one person before, his sister's eyes. "You see it," she said quietly. He didn't answer. "You do," she pressed. I see it, he said. She lowered her gaze to the baby. I told you, I was born here. That doesn't make him mine, he said. I never said it did. The kettle rattled faintly on the back burner. He took it off, poured water over the coffee grounds, and set the pot aside. You still haven't told me your name. I told you I don't keep one. That's not how people work. It's how I work. He pulled out the chair opposite hers and sat. The wood creaked. How long since you left them? A week, maybe more. Days all feel the same. Where'd you sleep? Barns, ditches. Once in a church that wasn't theirs. You steal to eat. She shook her head. I begged. The baby made a soft sound, almost a whimper. She shifted him, tucking the blanket tighter. You're not going to tell me who he belongs to? He asked. Her mouth tightened. I told you not to ask. He leaned back. And if I keep asking, I'll walk out that door and you'll never see us again. He looked at her for a long moment, the way her fingers curled protectively over the baby. You think I'm the kind of man who'd let a woman with a child walk into the cold. I think everyone's that kind of man if you push them hard enough. The words hung there. He sipped the coffee. You said you were born here, he said finally. Who told you that? The woman who raised me. She told you about your mother, only that she died when I came. He felt something shift in his chest, but he kept his voice even. She told you your mother's name. She told me her name was Ruth. That's all. His hands tightened around the coffee cup. Ruth was my sister. She didn't react, just nodded like she already knew. You sure? He asked. I've seen her picture, in a box. Same eyes as mine, same eyes as his. She looked at the baby again. You went through my things. Number the man who kept me had it, said she was family that shamed herself. He sat still, feeling heat crawl under his skin. They keep a lot of things they shouldn't, she said softly. Who's they? She shook her head. Doesn't matter. They won't come here. Not yet. He studied her face, how young it looked under the lamp, but how tired it carried itself. Are you planning on staying? He asked. Not if you don't want me. And if I do? Then we stay, until we can't. The baby shifted again, letting out a thin cry. She stood and began walking the length of the kitchen, swaying him back to quiet. He watched the movement, his sister's ghost flickering in the edges of it, the same way Ruth used to walk the floor with him when he was small enough to carry. Have you eaten anything since last night? He asked. No. He stood, sliced bread, put it in the pan with butter. The smell filled the room. You got anyone chasing you? Yes. How far behind? I don't know. Far enough I made it here before they caught up. And if they do. She looked at him like she'd already decided. Then you'll see what I can do. The bread browned, hissed in the pan. He put it on a plate and set it in front of her. She sat and ate in silence, eyes flicking to the baby between bites. You keep looking at him like you're waiting for something, he said. I'm waiting to see if he survives me. That's a strange thing to say. It's the truth. He thought of the letters upstairs. He hadn't touched them in years. But now, with this girl in his kitchen, they felt heavier. You sleep here tonight, he said. You already said that. I'm saying it again, so you know it's not a favor. It's what's happening. She didn't argue. He stood, poured himself another coffee, stared out at the dark window. No light outside, no sound but the baby's soft breathing. You can take my room, he said. I'll stay here. Are you afraid of something upstairs? Yes. What? Memories. He didn't push. Tomorrow, he said. We'll talk about what you're going to do. Tomorrow, she agreed. The coffee turned bitter in his mouth. He set the cup down and let the quiet fill the room again. Morning came gray and thin. He found her already awake, the baby quiet in her arms, her eyes fixed on the window. You sleep? He asked. No. Are you hungry? No. He poured coffee, drank half before speaking again. Come with me. She stood without asking why. He grabbed his coat, hers too, draped it over her shoulders. They stepped outside, frost crunching under their boots. The air is a bit hard. He led her past the barn, through the brittle grass toward the line of bare trees. Where are we going? She asked. You'll see. The ground dipped into a small clearing. The fence around it leaned in places, wire sagging. Inside, rows of stones sat in uneven lines, names fading under years of weather. She slowed. "This is family ground," he said. They walked to the far corner. The stone there was simple, the carving shallow. Ruth's name, 2 dates, nothing else. She stopped in front of it. The baby stirred, but she didn't look down. "She was my mother," she whispered. He nodded once. "She died here?" "Not here, but she's here now." Her hand reached out, traced the letters like she was memorizing the shape of them. "I never got to see her face. Not in life?" He didn't speak. "They told me she left me, that she was ashamed." "She didn't leave you," he said. "You don't know that." "I do." Her eyes flicked to him. "How?" "Because she was my sister. I know what she would and wouldn't do." The wind shifted, rattling the wire fence. "Why is there nothing written about her?" she asked. "Because the man who paid for the stone didn't want anything said." "Who was that?" "Our father." She looked down again. "So he erased her." He didn't answer. The baby made a small sound. She adjusted the blanket, still looking at the stone. "Did you love her?" "Yes." "Enough to fight for her?" "I tried. I was too late." She stepped back from the grave, eyes moving over the rest of the stones. "They kept my name from me, my real one. Said it wasn't mine to have. You know it now. It doesn't feel like mine. Feels like hers." He rested his hand on the fence post. "It's both." Silence sat between them. She shifted her weight. The baby held tighter. "You brought me here so I'd believe you?" she asked. "I brought you here so you'd see you belong somewhere." Her mouth tightened. "Belongings? Dangerous. Not here." "That's what people always say before they take it away." He stepped past her, started walking back toward the barn. She followed after a beat. "You ever wonder why I came here?" she asked as they reached the gate. "I figure you'll tell me when you're ready." "I'm not sure I'll ever be ready." "That's fine. I'm not sure I want to hear it." They walked in silence the rest of the way. The barn door groaned as he pushed it open. The smell of hay and old wood filled the air. "You keep animals?" she asked. "Not anymore." She looked around at the empty stalls. "Feels like ghosts in here." "They're all over this place," he said. She adjusted the baby again. "I don't know how to do this." "Do what?" "Raise him, keep him safe." "You'll figure it out." "And if I don't?" "Then I will." She stopped, looked at him hard. "Why?" "You don't owe me anything." "I owe your mother. That's enough." Her jaw worked like she wanted to say more but couldn't. "Come on," he said. "Let's get inside before the cold makes him cry." They stepped out of the barn, the house ahead of them. She glanced back toward the line of trees, the small clearing just out of sight. "You think she'd be proud of me?" she asked suddenly. "Yes," he said without pause. "You don't even know me." "I know enough." By dusk, the cold had settled deep into the walls. He lit the lamp, set bread and stew on the table. She sat where she had the night before, baby in her arms, eyes lowered. They ate without a word at first. The scrape of spoons was the only sound. "You cook this?" she asked finally. "Yes." "It's good." He nodded, kept eating. Between bites, she spoke again. "Where I came from, we didn't eat together. Not like this." "How'd you eat?" "Women ate last. Whatever was left." He paused, looking at her. "Does that happen often?" "Every day." The baby shifted in her lap. She adjusted the blanket without glancing down. "You said they called it a church," he said. "It was. Or it was supposed to be." "You believe that?" "I believe it was a place where rules mattered more than people." He leaned back. "What kind of rules?" "No mirrors. No music unless it was hymns. No one left without permission. Men spoke. Women listened. And the man in charge." She stirred the stew with her spoon. "They called him Uncle." "Family?" "No." "What was he to you?" Her voice thinned. "Someone I avoided when I could." He watched her face. "Why?" "Because avoiding him was safer than talking to him." The spoon paused mid-air before she took another bite. "You're afraid he'll come here?" "Yes." "You think he will?" "He doesn't like losing things he thinks he owns." The room held that word for a moment. Owns. He set his spoon down. "How many others are there like you?" "Too many." "You ever think of going back for them?" She met his eyes. "You don't go back. Not if you get out alive." The baby made a small sound. She shifted him higher in her arms, rocked gently. Her hands never left him, not even to eat. She managed everything with one hand, the other always around the baby. "Have you ever put him down?" he asked. "No." "Why not?" "Because the last time I set him down, I turned around and he was gone." His jaw tightened. "How long?" "5 minutes. Long enough." "Who took him?" "I don't know. He was back in his crib when I found him, but his blanket was gone." "And you think—" "I don't think so." "I know." He didn't press. "You trust me?" he asked after a while. "Not yet." "Fair." They finished the bread. The stew pot sat empty on the stove. "Are you planning on sleeping tonight?" he asked. "Not if I can help it." "You can't stay awake forever." "I've done it before." He studied her, the pale face lit by lamplight, the shadow under her eyes. "Your mother did the same thing," he said quietly. Her head tilted. "You saw her do that?" "Yes. She'd sit up all night when I was small. Said it was to keep the dark from getting in." "Did it work?" "No." The baby stirred again, tiny hands twitching in the blanket. She looked down at him like she was memorizing his face. "You name him yet?" he asked. "No." "Are you planning to?" "When I'm sure he's going to live." "That's a hell of a way to think." "It's the way I was taught." He got up, cleared the dishes. The clink of the plates in the basin filled the silence. "You want me to take him for a while?" he asked over his shoulder. "No." "Not even so you can rest?" Her grip tightened. "No." He let it go. "Tomorrow," he said, "I'm going into town." "Why?" "Supplies." "You want me to come?" Number too many eyes. She nodded, eyes dropping back to the baby. The lamp burned low. The room grew darker around them. "You think you can keep us safe?" she asked suddenly. "Yes." "You sure?" "Number, but I'll try." She let that settle, then shifted the baby again. "That's more than anyone else ever said to me." He looked at her, but she didn't meet his eyes. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that pressed against the walls. She'd finally drifted off in the chair, the baby curled against her chest. He waited until her breathing evened out before slipping from the room. Upstairs smelled of dust and cold wood. He stepped into his sister's old room, the one no one had entered in years. The moonlight from the narrow window cut across the dresser, bottom drawer, locked. He took the small key from his pocket, the one he'd kept on a nail behind the door for over a decade. The lock clicked open. Inside, bundles of letters tied in fading ribbon. All the envelopes were addressed, but never stamped. He picked up the first one. The handwriting was sharp, hurried. "I can't write about it. Not on paper, they might see." He read another. "They watch me when I walk to the store. They say it's for my safety." "I don't believe them." He kept going. "If something happens, don't let them take her. She belongs with blood, not them." His hand stilled. The letter had no date. He set it aside and opened another. "They call him Uncle. He's not. He knows I know. That's why he smiles the way he does." The words grew harder to read, ink smeared from water or tears. "You're not supposed to be in here," her voice said behind him. He turned. She stood in the doorway, baby still in her arms, eyes sharp in the dark. "You should be sleeping," he said. "I couldn't." He gestured to the drawer. These were hers. She stepped closer. "I've seen some of them." "Where?" "In the box they kept." "You read them?" "Not all. I wasn't allowed." He handed her one. "This one's about you." She looked at the paper, but didn't take it. "I don't need to read it to know what it says." "You sure?" She wanted me out, away from them. She just didn't live long enough to do it. He put the letters back carefully, one by one. "Why didn't she mail them?" "She couldn't. They checked everything. Every drawer, every pocket." He closed the drawer, turned the key. "Have they ever hurt her?" "They hurt everyone, just in different ways." His jaw tightened. "They hurt you?" She didn't answer right away. "Not the way you mean." "What way then?" "They made me think I was theirs. Made me think what they did was normal." He looked at her. Really looked. "And now I know it wasn't." The floorboard under his boot groaned. "What else do you know?" "That they'll want the baby. They'll call him theirs too. They won't get him. You can't promise that." "I can." She stepped into the room, eyes on the dresser. "What else is in there?" "Clothes, old pictures." "Show me." He hesitated, then opened the other drawers. Dresses folded neatly, a scarf still holding the faint scent of her perfume. A small photograph of the two of them as children sitting on the porch steps. She was smiling, the girl said softly. She didn't smile much after that. They stood in the quiet, the baby shifting with a small sound. "You miss her?" she asked. "Every day. I don't know if I miss her. I don't remember her." "You can still miss someone you don't remember." She looked at him like she wanted to believe that. "Come on," he said. "It's cold up here." She didn't move. "Do you think she'd tell me to stay?" "Here. With you." "Yes. Even if it's dangerous. Especially then." They walked back toward the stairs. At the bottom, she paused. "You're not going to hide those letters from me, are you?" "No." "Good, because if I'm going to stay, I need to know everything." "You'll know what you need to do." "That's not enough. It's all I've got right now." She studied him for a moment, then turned toward the kitchen. The lamp was still burning low. "Are you going to bed?" he asked. "Number I'm keeping watch." "You think they'll come tonight?" "Not yet, but soon." He pulled his coat from the hook. "I'll take my first watch." "You don't trust me to do it?" "I don't trust you to stay awake." Her mouth lifted just slightly. "Then we'll see." The morning was pale and brittle. He'd been outside stacking wood when he heard the slow crunch of hooves on frozen ground. The sound carried, steady, deliberate. The sheriff rode into view, reins loose in one hand. His coat was heavy, collar turned up, badge catching what little light there was. "Morning," the sheriff called, voice too easy. "Morning," he answered. The horse stopped near the porch. The sheriff stayed in the saddle, looking past him toward the house. "Got a report you might be keeping strays," the sheriff said. "Don't see any dogs around here." The sheriff smiled thin. "Not the kind I mean." He said nothing, set another log on the stack. The sheriff's eyes shifted to the window. Someone new in there. He kept his back straight. "The house is mine. Who's in? It's my business." The sheriff swung a leg over, stepped down slowly. Boots crunched. "You know how it works. People around here keep track of comings and goings. Some people need new hobbies." The sheriff stepped to the porch, one boot on the bottom step. His gaze slid past the door again. "She's young," the sheriff said. "Is that a problem?" "Depends who she is." "She's nobody you need to worry about." The sheriff tilted his head. "Girl like that? Folks are already talking. Say she belongs to people who don't forget when something's taken from them." He didn't move. "Are you telling me to give her back?" "I'm telling you it might be better for everyone if she wasn't here." The door creaked. She stood in the doorway, baby in her arms, hair loose around her face. The sheriff's eyes went straight to her and stayed there too long. "You got a name, miss?" the sheriff asked. "No." "Is that so?" "Yes." The sheriff's smile tightened. "Where are you from?" "Here," she said flatly. He stepped closer, blocking the sheriff's line of sight. "That's enough." The sheriff looked at him, something hard behind his eyes. "You think you can keep her from them?" "I know I can." The sheriff let out the silent stretch. Then, to her, "They'll come for you." "I know," she said. He didn't like how calm she sounded. The sheriff shifted his weight. "When they do, it won't be a visit like this. Won't be me talking." "Then you'd better tell them to stay away," he said. "That's not how they work," the sheriff said, almost amused. He took a step up. The wood groaned under his weight. "You ever think maybe they'll let her go if she's more trouble than she's worth?" The sheriff's eyes narrowed. "She's worth plenty. The question is, to whom?" She adjusted the baby, eyes steady on the sheriff. "You can leave now." The sheriff looked at her for another beat, then stepped back down, boots crunching on the frost. He mounted the horse slowly, reins in one hand. "You're making yourself a problem," he told him. "I've been one before," he said. The sheriff smirked, turned the horse, and rode back the way he'd come. When the sound of hooves was gone, he turned to her. "You shouldn't have opened that door." "I wasn't hiding." "You should be." She walked back inside without another word. He followed, shutting the door behind him. "He's not going to let this go," he said. "I know." "He knows them?" "They know everyone." He rubbed a hand over his face. "You recognize him?" "Number. But I know the type." He poured coffee, sat at the table. "We'll have to be ready." "For what?" "For them trying to take you." She shifted the baby to her other arm. "You think they'll come soon?" "They will now." Her gaze dropped to the floor. "Then we don't have much time." "No," he said. "We don't." She looked at him then, and there was something in her face he hadn't seen before. Not fear, something harder. "Have you ever killed a man?" she asked. He didn't answer. "That's not a no," she said. "You don't ask questions you don't want the truth to." He told her, "I want the truth about everything. You'll get it, just not all at once." The baby fussed. She rocked him gently, eyes still on him. "If they come, you'll have to do it again," she said quietly. He didn't flinch. "I know." The fire was low, just enough to paint the walls in a restless orange. He sat in the chair nearest it, boots stretched toward the heat. She sat opposite, baby tucked under the quilt in her lap. "You haven't told me everything," he said. She didn't look up. "I've told you enough." "Not about him." Her jaw tightened. "There's nothing to tell." "That's a lie." She shifted the baby, eyes on the flames. "Some things don't get said out loud." "They are here." "No," she said quietly. "Not this." He leaned forward. "Are you afraid of him?" "I'm afraid of what happens if I say his name." He studied her. "You think names have that kind of power?" "They do where I come from." He let the silence hang, only the crackle of the fire filling it. "Tell me," he said finally. "No." "Why not?" Her eyes lifted to his, calm but unyielding. "Because he wears the badge now." He felt the heat from the fire change, sharper, meaner. "The sheriff?" he asked. She didn't answer. "Is it him?" Her gaze didn't waver. He sat back slowly. "Why did he look at you like that?" "Yes." "You sure?" "I'm sure." His hands curled against the arms of the chair. "And the baby." "Don't." "You're telling me he—" "I said don't." The room felt smaller, the air heavier. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "Because you'd go after him." "You're damn right I would." "That's why I didn't." He stood, paced once, then stopped. "And the others? Do they know?" "They know enough to keep quiet." He turned back toward her. "That's not going to work anymore." Her fingers stroked the baby's hair. "It's worked this long." "Not here, not with me." "You think you can stop him?" she asked. "I know I can." "You sound just like they do when they think they own something." "I'm not them." She looked back at the fire. "He'll kill you." "Maybe." She shook her head. "You don't understand what he is." "Then make me understand." Her lips pressed tight. "He's the one they send when someone disappears. He makes sure nobody finds them." The fire popped. "He killed your mother, didn't he?" he asked. Her eyes flicked to him and away. "I don't know. But if he didn't, he stood there and let it happen." He gripped the back of his chair. "That's enough for me." She adjusted the quilt, tucking the baby deeper inside. "If you go after him, they'll all come. Not just him. Let them." "You're not hearing me." "He's not afraid of you. He's not afraid of anyone." "Everyone's afraid of something," he said. She stared at the fire again, her voice low. "You think you're the first person to stand up to him? You won't be the last either, but the others, they're all in the ground now." He took a slow breath. "Then I'll have to make sure I'm not." Her eyes lifted again. "I don't want you to die because of me." "You didn't bring this here." "He did." She held his gaze for a long time, then looked back down at the baby. "If you're going to do something, you better do it fast." "Why?" "Because he doesn't like to wait. And now he knows where I am." The fire hissed as a log shifted. "Are you ready to run again?" he asked. "No." "You think staying is safer?" "I think running just gives him time to catch up." He nodded slowly. "Then we stay. And we wait for him." She let out a breath, but it didn't sound like relief. "You'll regret it." "Not if it ends this." She rocked the baby once, twice. "I hope you're right." The morning was still when he stepped out with the bucket. Frost clung to the grass, the kind that made sound under boots. The well sat just beyond the barn, dark stones slick with damp. He lowered the bucket, heard it break the surface, then hauled it up slow. Halfway, he noticed the smell. Smoke. When the bucket cleared the lip, the water was cloudy, speckled black. Ash floated in thin swirls. He stared at it for a long moment, then dumped it out, lowered the bucket again. Same thing. She appeared behind him, coat pulled tight, baby against her chest. "What's wrong?" "The water's bad," he said. She stepped closer, peered inside. Her face didn't change. "It's ash." "I can see that." She shifted the baby. They did this. You sound sure. I am. He straightened. Why? In the compound, they burned things. Anything they thought could spread sin. Like what? Letters, photographs, books, sometimes names. He frowned. Names. They'd write them down, then burn the paper. Said it erased the sin. Erased the person if they needed it too. He glanced back at the water. What is this? Yes, it's a warning. He set the bucket down hard. Means they've been here. They've been here before you knew I was coming. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Number, it's supposed to make you understand you can't stop them from finding us. He looked toward the tree line. Are they on foot? They move differently than that. You won't see them until they want you to. He grabbed the rope again. How many? I don't know. You're not much help. I'm not here to help. I'm here because I didn't have anywhere else to go. The words hit sharper than they should have. You could have gone anywhere. Number, I couldn't. Why not? Because I was born here, and because you're the only one left who might care enough to fight. He met her eyes. You're sure they poisoned the well? It's not poison. It's a message. They could have made it worse if they wanted to. That's supposed to be comforting. Number, it's supposed to tell you they're not done. He coiled the rope tight. We'll have to boil it from now on. They'll do it again. Then I'll clean it again. She studied him for a moment. You don't scare easily. Not of them. You should be. He stepped past her toward the barn. I've dealt with men like them before. Not like these. He stopped, looked back. You keep saying that. Why? Because you think this is about you standing your ground. It's not. It's about them showing you there's no ground that's yours. He didn't answer. You're going. To fight, she said. Yes. And you're going to lose. We'll see. She followed him toward the house. The baby was awake now, eyes open, watching. What would they burn my name for? He asked. If they write it, it means you've become part of their story. If they burn it, it means you're not leaving alive. He stopped at the porch steps. They burned mine. Yes. How do you know? Because he would have told them to. The sheriff. He opened the door, stepped inside. Then we'd better make sure he's the one who doesn't leave alive. Her voice was flat. You don't get to decide that. Someone has to. She sat at the table, rocking the baby. You think killing him will end it? It'll end him. It'll make you just like them. I'm not like them. You think that now. He poured himself coffee, drank it black. If he comes here, I won't hesitate. She met his eyes. Then you'd better not miss. The upstairs air was colder, untouched for years. Dust softened every corner, and the floor groaned under their steps. He led her down the narrow hall, past the door he hadn't opened since the funeral. This one, he said. He turned the knob. The hinges gave a tired creak. The room was a small, slanted ceiling, pressing low. A single window looked toward the barn. The old cradle sat in the corner, draped with a faded quilt. She stepped inside, her breath catching. It's here. What is? The room from my dreams. He frowned. You've never been here. I know. Her hand skimmed the wall, fingertips tracing the paint cracks. I've seen it since I was a child, always the same. The cradle, the window, the quiet. She crossed to the cradle and set the baby down, careful, like the act itself was a ceremony. Fits just right, she murmured. He stayed near the door. This was your mother's room. I know that too. You can't know. No one told you. I don't need to be told. He studied her, the way she looked around like she was mapping every detail into memory. What else do you dream about? This house, the barn, the well, sometimes the cemetery. Have you ever dreamt about me? Number, not until I saw you. He glanced at the cradle. Your mother used that for you. I think so. You think, or you know. I feel it. He crossed the room, stood beside her. The baby slept without sound. You plan on staying here? He asked. Yes. It's cold. I like the cold. He gave her a look. The baby doesn't. I'll keep him warm. He touched the quilt in the cradle. She made this. Her eyes flicked to him. For me? For you. She smoothed the fabric. They told me she never wanted me. They lied. Her voice was quiet. That's what I thought. The wind, outside, pressed against the window. You know what's coming, he said. Yes. Are you ready for it? Number, but I'll be here. He nodded once. Then so will I. She looked at him then. What if you can't stop them? I'll die trying. Her mouth tightened. That's not what I want. It's what you'll get if they step foot in here. They stood in the quiet, both looking at the cradle. You ever wonder why I dreamed of this room? She asked. All the time. I think she showed it to me. Somehow. She's gone. Not from me. He didn't argue. The baby stirred, tiny fingers curling against the quilt. She reached down, adjusting him until he was still again. You're not afraid of this room? He asked. Number, it feels safe. It didn't to her. Her brow furrowed. Why? Because it's where she wrote most of the letters you saw. She glanced around again, as if trying to see the words in the air. She was alone up here. Most of the time. Were you with her? Sometimes. When I could be. Her hand rested on the side of the cradle. She must have been so lonely. She was. They stood there a while longer, the room holding its own silence. Finally, he said, If you want to keep this room, it's yours. I already knew that. He turned toward the door. I'll bring up more blankets. She didn't look at him when she spoke. Thank you. The night was thick, the moon smothered behind slow-moving clouds. He sat at the table cleaning the rifle, oil and cloth moving in steady rhythm, when the sound reached him, faint at first like distant thunder. It grew heavier, hooves on frozen ground, more than one horse. She came down the stairs with the baby, her face tight. What is it? Horses. Her fingers gripped the banister. How many? He set the cloth aside, listening. Too many. Lantern light began to bob through the trees, swaying in uneven arcs. The men in dust coats emerged one by one, their horses moving slow, deliberate. They spread out in a wide circle around the house, the glow of their lanterns casting long shadows that swayed across the yard. One voice carried above the creak of saddle leather. Send her out. He stepped into the doorway, rifle in hand. She's not going anywhere. The ring of riders slowed. Lanterns hovered. We don't want trouble, another voice called. You brought it, he said. She doesn't belong to you. She doesn't belong to you either. A pause. Then, you're making this harder than it needs to be. I can make it harder still. The men shifted in their saddles. Hooves stirred the frost. Inside, she whispered, They won't leave. They will. You can't hold them all off. I only need to hold the doorway. One rider eased closer, the lantern swinging. We can take her without spilling blood, but that's up to you. He stepped forward until the barrel of his rifle caught the glow. If you think you can take her, try. Another voice came from deeper in the shadows. She knows things she shouldn't. That makes her ours. She's not yours. She was born in our care, raised by our rules. You mean owned. That's not how we see it. It's how I see it, and I'm the one standing here with the gun. The air tightened. Only the horses moved, shifting and snorting. You know what happens to men who cross us, the first voice said. I know what happens to men who think I'll back down. The door behind him creaked. She stepped into the frame. The baby pressed to her. The lantern light caught her face, pale and still. You got a name, miss? One of them asked. No. Is that so? Yes. The man's gaze slid to the baby. That one yours? She didn't blink. Yes. The leader leaned forward in the saddle. Then you know he'll be raised right with us. Her voice sharpened. Over my body. That's the other way it can go. He moved so he blocked her from view. Enough. The rider's tone turned colder. You think you can keep her? You can't. You'll run out of bullets before we run out of men. Then you'd better hope you're not first in line. The first shot wasn't his. It split the air, snapping wood from the porch post. He answered fast, taking out one of the lanterns. Half the circle vanished into the dark. Shouts rose. Horses lunged. Another shot ripped past his shoulder, close enough to feel the air burn. He fired low, dirt kicking up inches from a horse's legs. The animal reared, rider nearly thrown. She needs to get back inside, someone yelled. She's not moving, he shouted back. Two riders broke from the ring, charging straight for the porch. He aimed for the lead horse's front legs, not to kill, but to turn it hard. The horse screamed, veering off. The rider hit the ground and rolled. The second rider slowed just enough for the light to catch his face. Young, too young. Go home, he told him. The boy hesitated, then pulled hard on the reins and vanished into the dark. The rest of the riders held back, lanterns swaying. The leader spoke again. "You can't keep this up. Not every night. I only need to keep it up one night longer than you can." For a long moment, nothing moved. Then reins snapped, hooves pounded. The circle broke, fading into the trees until there was nothing but the slow hiss of the wind in the grass. He stayed in the doorway, rifle steady, until the last echo of hooves died. Inside, she was still standing in the hall, baby clutched close. "They'll be back." "I know." "You think you scared them?" "Number, but I made them think." Her voice was quiet. "Next time, they won't talk." First, he shut the door and set the rifle against the wall. "Then neither will I." The light came slow, gray at first, then sharp enough to sting the eyes. He opened the door and stepped onto the porch. The snow was fresh, untouched except for the trail of prints that led to the yard, and stopped at a body. One rider lay face down, coat spread wide, one arm twisted under him. The snow around his head was stained dark. She came up behind him, the baby wrapped tight against her. "Who is it?" He stepped down, boots crunching. "Don't know yet." They stopped a few feet away. The cold air bit through his coat, carrying the copper tang of blood. He crouched, turning the man just enough to see his face. "Recognize him?" she asked. "No." Her eyes dropped to the ground. Something caught the light. She stepped closer, reached down and brushed snow away. A silver star winked up at them from the white. "That's him," she said. He frowned. "The sheriff?" "That's the one." He picked up the badge, cold in his hand. "You're sure?" "I'd know him anywhere." The wind cut through them, shifting the snow over the dead man's boots. "You think he came here alone?" he asked. "Number, he wouldn't." He looked toward the tree line. "Then where are the others?" "Gone." He studied the badge, then the man. "Why leave him?" "They didn't leave him. They put him here." "Why?" "So you'd know it was your turn next." He slipped the badge into his coat pocket. "Maybe it's theirs." She shifted the baby. "What are you going to do?" "Bury him." "You should burn him." He looked at her. "Why?" "That's what they do." "I'm not them." She held his gaze. "If you bury him, they'll come and dig him up. Then I'll bury him deep." He went to the barn for a shovel. The ground was hard, each strike biting shallow. She stood nearby, the baby quiet against her chest. "You think they're watching?" he asked. "Yes." "From where?" "Close enough." He kept digging, snow dusting his shoulders. The hole was slow work, but he didn't stop. "You want me to tell you how he died?" she asked. "I can guess." "Number." "You can't." He paused, leaning on the shovel. "Then tell me." "They don't kill their own unless they have to. If they did, it means he failed them badly. Or he failed you." She looked at the badge again. He never thought he could. When the hole was ready, he went to the body, lifted it without ceremony. The snow under it was frozen red. "You want to say something to him?" he asked. "No." He lowered the man in, shoveled dirt back over him until the ground was level, no marker, just snow. When it was done, he stood there for a moment. "That's it." "That's not it," she said. He looked at her. "You think this means more?" "It means they're closer than you thought." He took the badge from his pocket, turned it in the light. "Closer works both ways." She stared at him. "You're thinking of going after them." "I'm thinking they came here to make a point. I should return it." "They'll kill you before you get close." "Maybe." Her voice was low. "You don't get to leave me alone here." He met her eyes. "Then I won't leave you." They walked back toward the house. The wind picked up, wiping their tracks from the snow. Inside, he set the badge on the table. It caught the firelight, a small, bright warning. "You want me to hide it?" she asked. "Number, I want it where I can see it." She looked at the badge, then at him. "You're going to use it?" "Yes." "How?" "Not sure yet." The baby stirred, making a soft sound. She adjusted the quilt around him. "You think tonight will be quiet?" "No." Her mouth tightened. "Then we'd better be ready." He left the badge on the table until the firelight went dull. Then he put it in his pocket, took up the shovel, and told her to dress warmly. She wrapped the baby, pulled the quilt tight, and followed him out into the morning. Snow lay smooth over the yard. He walked to where he had buried the rider at first light, then looked toward the trees and the small clearing. "We're moving him," he said. "Where?" she asked. "Where she is." "That's not allowed." "I know." She studied him. "Why?" "Because they meant him to mark us," he said. "I'll mark them back." She nodded once. "I'll hold the baby." He set the shovel in and began to dig. The ground bit back, but he worked steady until he reached the packed earth. When the shovel scraped the coffin board, he knelt, pushed his hands into the dirt, and pulled the body free. "You want me to look away?" she asked. "No." They carried the weight, past the barn, and through brittle grass to the family fence. The wire sagged where it always had, and the posts leaned, tired of holding. He went to Ruth's plot and set the body down beside it. "This spot," he said. "You sure?" "Yes." "You're breaking the law." "I've done worse." He drove the shovel into the ground and started the new hole. Each strike was loud. She watched, rocking the baby, eyes moving between the grave and the name on the stone. "I dreamed of this place when I was small," she said. "I didn't know what it was." "It's where the truth sits," he said. "The truth never sat where I lived. It will be here." He worked until the hole was ready. He lowered the man in, careful not to drag. Snow dusted the edges. He stepped back. "Do you want to say anything?" she asked. "Yes." He took the badge from his pocket, looked at it once, then dropped it onto the chest of the dead man. The metal flashed and went still. "That's him," she said softly. "That's the one." "I know." He shifted the first shovel of dirt. The earth fell. He added another, then another, until the hole began to fill. She moved closer. "Let me," she said. "You sure?" "Yes." She balanced the baby along her arm and took the shovel. Her hands were raw, but sure. She threw in 2 clean cuts of earth, then gave the shovel back. He finished in silence. When the ground was level, he stepped to Ruth's stone and brushed snow from the letters. The name looked newly carved again. "She was my mother," she whispered. "I know." "I wish I had heard her voice." "She sounded like you when you're tired." She let out a small breath. "Then I know her." They stood, with the wind pushing their coats. The baby stirred, then quieted. A crow called, and then nothing moved. "They'll be angry," she said. "They already were. They'll say you defiled the ground. It's ours. They'll say you buried a man like he belonged here." "He belongs where I put him." She studied him. "You're not afraid?" "I'm done being afraid." She looked at the name again. "Me too." He set the shovel by the fence. "I can put a marker if you want." "Number let him go unnamed." He nodded. "Then that's the end of him." "It's not the end of them. It's the start of the end." They stood longer. He picked up the shovel. "We should go in," he said. "You need to warm the baby." She hasn't turned yet. She touched the stone again, fingers tracing the letters. Then she faced him. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For laying him beside her. For not leaving him with them." He looked toward the filled ground. "He didn't deserve better." "It's not for him," she said. "It's for me." "For him." She looked down at the baby. "For where we came from." He nodded. "You both were born here. Now you can grow here." She held his gaze. "That's all I wanted." They walked back toward the house, leaving 3 tracks the wind smoothed. At the porch, she looked back. The fence, the stones, the new earth, all sat quiet, as if the day waited for this. "They'll come again," she said. "They might." "What will you do when they do?" "I'll be standing in the doorway." "And if you can't hold it?" "Then I'll hold you." She swallowed. "You don't have to save me." "I know," he said. "You saved yourself. I'm giving you a place." She nodded and stepped inside. He followed, set the shovel by the door, and fed the fire. The house warmed slowly. She sat with the baby in the chair by the window, where light met quiet. He watched her. "Are you going to name him?" "Yes." "What will you call him?" She smiled, small and certain. "Truth." He let the word sit. It fits. It changed everything. It all mattered. She rocked the dirt baby, and her voice came steady. "Thank you," she said again, not for saving her, but for letting her child grow up knowing where we came from. "That's enough," he said. "It is," she answered. Outside, the wind smoothed the yard, and the house held. Inside, the fire spoke, and the three of them listened. The sun hadn't cleared the trees when he stepped outside with the badge in his hand. Frost lit the grass silver, the air still sharp enough to bite. She stood on the porch, the baby against her chest, watching. "Are you sure about this?" she asked. "Yes." He walked to the gatepost, pulled a rusted nail from the pocket of his coat, and drove it in with the heel of his hand. The sheriff's badge caught the early light and shone bright. "What's it for?" she asked. "A warning. To who?" "Anyone watching." She adjusted the baby, eyes narrowing. "They'll take it as a challenge." "Good." The metal winked in the light. A small, stubborn star. By midday, word had moved faster than the wind. An old widow from town came up the path, wrapped in a black shawl, boots leaving deep prints in the dirt. "You shouldn't have done that," she said, before she'd even reached the porch. "Too late now," he replied. She glanced at the badge. "That'll draw them." "That's the idea." Her eyes shifted to the woman with the baby. "You're the girl." "Yes," she said. The widow's gaze lingered, measuring something. "I knew your mother." The girl didn't answer. "She told me once she feared one man above the rest, called him uncle, though he wasn't." The girl's voice was flat. "I know who he is." The widow reached into her shawl and pulled out a folded scrap of paper. "This is the trail map. Shows where they move after dark. Keep it close." He took it. "Why give this to me?" "Because I'm too old to run, and you're the only fool planting badges instead of hiding." She turned to leave, then stopped. "If you hear the bell twice, don't go to the door." The girl asked, "What happens if you do?" "You'll find out once," the widow said, and kept walking. Inside, he spread the map on the table. Thin pencil lines marked narrow paths, loops through the trees, crossings by the creek. "They use all of these?" he asked. "Yes," the girl said. "Some more than others." "Which?" She pointed to two lines that curved near the barn. "These are where they'll come from if they're fast." He nodded. "Then we make them slow." They started in the kitchen, moving furniture, setting a heavy chest against the back door. In the hall, he strung wire low between the walls. Upstairs, they cleared her room of anything that could catch fire. "Why bother?" she asked. "So they can't trap us inside." They worked without much talking, just the scrape of wood and the thud of nails. By evening, the house felt different, tighter, less like a home and more like a place waiting for trouble. Outside, the wind carried the smell of smoke from somewhere distant. He stepped onto the porch to check the sky. That's when he saw it. A small bundle hung from the gatepost, swaying. 3 strands of cord braided together, black, red, white. She came out beside him. "Do you know what that is?" "No." "It means surrender or fire. You choose, or they do." He stared at it. "We choose neither. They won't like that." "They already don't." He pulled the cord from the post and tossed it into the dirt. "If they want an answer, they'll have to step closer." She looked at him. "That's not an answer, that's a dare." He picked up the rifle leaning by the door. Then we agreed. The baby stirred, eyes blinking in the fading light. She rocked him gently. "You think we'll see them tonight?" she asked. "Yes." She nodded once. No argument. "Then we'll be ready." He looked at the badge on the gate, the cord on the ground, the dark coming quickly. The air felt like it was holding its breath. Dusk pressed low, the light gone soft and gray. He sat by the window with the rifle across his lap when the sound came, clear, deliberate, a single chime of a handbell from the gate. She looked up from the cradle. "What's that?" "Not a threat," he said. "A summons." He stood, stepped onto the porch. The badge on the post caught the last light. Beyond it stood a man in a long coat, one hand holding the bell, the other resting on a walking stick. His face was pale, calm, the kind that never flinched. "You're him," the man said. "Who's asking?" "Call me an emissary." "That's supposed to mean something." "It means I speak for the ones you've been standing against." He kept the rifle low but ready. "Then speak." The emissary smiled faintly. "Parley, a trade. Return the child, erase the past, and you'll sleep in peace." Inside, she moved to the doorway, the baby in her arms. "And if we don't?" The emissary's eyes flicked to her. "Then you'll live with the weight of what comes next." She stepped onto the porch beside him, close enough he could feel the heat of her shoulder. "The past isn't yours to erase." "It can be," the emissary said. "Give us the boy, and all this ends." She shifted the baby higher. "Ends for who? Him or me?" "For everyone." He spoke then, voice hard. You're not taking him. The emissary's smile didn't fade. You think this land will keep you safe? This house. It's not the house keeping us safe. And what is? The ground. Who's in it? Who's staying in it? The man's eyes lingered on him, weighing something. You're prepared to die for her? Yes. And for him? Yes. The emissary let out a slow breath. You could have chosen peace. This is peace, she said, standing here, telling you no. He looked at her then, just for a moment, and saw she meant every word. The emissary tilted the bell, letting it swing in his hand. Think about it. The offer stands until the next bell. There won't be a next one, he said. The emissary's gaze softened, almost pitying. There's always a next. He turned, walking back toward the tree line. When he reached the shadows, the bell rang again, this time twice. From deeper in the dark, the sound of boots and snow. Many. Slow. Steady. She stepped back into the doorway, her voice low. What does 2 mean? It means they're done talking. The boots kept coming, not rushing, not hesitating. He could hear them spreading wide, surrounding. She set the baby in the cradle and came back to his side. You said they'd wait until night. They did. The badge on the post caught one last flash of light before full dark took it. The air felt like it was leaning forward, listening. Are you ready? He asked. Yes. He closed the door, set the bar in place. Then we hold.